How's it going, everyone? Equinox Phoenix here, and today we're gonna talk about Crisis on Infinite Earths. It's finally over. After getting hints and bits and pieces of it, mentions here and there, being told that Flash vanishes, missing in Crisis, and all of that. Not only did it happen 5 years early, in 2019 as opposed to 2020, and in December as opposed to, I believe, April is when it was supposed to originally happen. It's done. It's over. Now to deal with the fallout. Throughout the course of Crisis, we had, we went through all the Earths of previous live action series, movies, with the exception of Justice League, the DCEU. And we met many characters, old and new. We re encountered Smallville's Clark and Lois. Who apparently Clark gave up his powers so he could have kids or something like that. It's whatever. Lex started killing off Superman and decided not to kill off the Smallville Clark because he wasn't Superman anymore, I guess. Um, the Paragons themselves. We had the Paragon of hope, truth, love, humanity, courage. All of that. I think I counted them all. Uh, anyway, and of course, as we knew from the coming weeks, Oliver Queen died at the beginning of Crisis. He then becomes Spectre. I don't remember what the previous Spectre's name was. I have only heard it twice for the series. But yeah, he becomes Spectre, and with that, while he's becoming Spectre, the Anti-Monitor appears and wipes out all Earths, even though they destroyed the antimatter cannon. Still don't get that. But I've never read the comics for Crisis, so that's probably where my confusion is. And afterwards, Nash Wells, who is apparently responsible for releasing the Anti-Monitor. Apparently, Nash Wells is like the whole reason Crisis even began, and I'm just like, why, dude? Why? He does regret it though, and in an act of, I guess, repentance and to make up for release, he sends all of the Paragons to the Vanishing Point. As we know from Legends, the Vanishing Point is outside of both space and time, so the Anti-Monitor can't delete it, as it were. There we find out that Lex replaced the Superman Returns Superman with himself as the Paragon of Truth. Yeah, Lex is Lex, man. We know he probably has ulterior motives. Um, Months later, apparently it's months, not a month, or even a split second, like Barry felt. It was months later. Barry reappears, and Oliver also reappears. Barry is trying to get into the Speed Force, I'm guessing to, unlock his full potential or whatnot. Oliver's like, you guys are our last hope. You must stop Marno Vu from, uh, you know, looking at the dawn of time because that's how the Anti-Monitor knew. You must stop them from encountering each other. Yada yada yada. I say yada yada yada. It's essentially basic superhero hero bad guy spiel thing, like stop them from making this mistake. Time travel and all of that. but in order to do so, Barry needs the Speed Force unlocked fully, as it were. So Oliver unlocks the Speed Force's not at the Speed Force, more Barry's full potential, as Oliver worded it. Which, quite frankly, honestly, yeah, we had ups and downs throughout all of Crisis. I've mentioned before, I don't quite necessarily agree with the direction they were taking Kara and Lena's relationship, but that's kind of fixed at the end of Crisis when the Paragons and Oliver reset the universe and create Earth Prime. That's apparently fixed, but they also kind of sort of make Lex a good guy. I'm not necessarily opposed to good guy Lex. I have no feelings one way or the other about Lex. I think it's intriguing, it's interesting, and I'm looking forward to seeing where they take it. Maybe he stays a good guy and Supergirl ends in a few years with good guy Lex. We finally get a good guy Lex that isn't that one comic book Earth that I don't fully remember. Like it's like a reverse world. All the heroes are villains, all the villains are heroes. Feel free to mention which Earth it is down in the comments. I'm looking forward to seeing where it is. We also, as Earth Prime, we that while Earth Prime, everyone's back, right? Everyone who died is back. But wait, Oliver isn't back. For whatever reason, I don't think we know it fully why. I'm not sure if the writers or whatever mentioned it. If they did, then I'll look into it. If they didn't, we'll find out in the later episodes of one of the shows. Oliver didn't bring himself back when he created the universe. There was no Oliver Queen for Earth Prime. Nash is like, oh my god, the Antimater's still alive, This is like the end game, as it were. I had heard rumors that Ray Palmer dies in Crisis, right? Those rumors were confirmed false when Ray Palmer is still alive at the end of Crisis after they defeat the Antimatter permanently by throwing a shrink bomb at him to constantly shrink him until the end of time, I guess. Which, hey, let's go. We discover. And so our heroes, Flash, Supergirl, Sarah, Black Lightning, for whatever reason, the group all come together and they say goodbye to Oliver, or a mannequin wearing the Green Arrow suit. And Barry reveals a circular table with everyone's symbols, including Tyler Hoechlin's Superman and Kara's Supergirl as part of it, along with Sarah, Black Lightning, himself, Oliver. There is a Green Arrow seat, even though it's unmanned, as it were. And and then we hear monkey sounds, and it's quite interesting. And it's like, wait, what's going on here? It shows us a shot of a cage with the words Gleek on it. Now, who Gleek is, I'm not 100% sure. From what I was able to find out yesterday, Gleek is the pet monkey of the Wonder Twins from Super Friends, which is interesting. Then it pans out, and we see that the building they're in, the condemned building, as Black Lightning called it, or the black site, essentially, I think that's how he described it, of Star Labs, I believe it's a Star Labs black site, is actually the Hall of Justice. And I'm just like, no way, we're getting the Hall of Justice. So we now have a TV Justice League, a live action TV Justice League, like a proper Justice League. We have Batwoman to represent the Bat family. We have Supergirl and Superman to represent them. We have Sarah as one of the Canaries, even though we have Earth 2 Laurel as a Black Canary. It's whatever. Not gonna get into that. But yeah, and now honestly, see that I am infinitely looking forward to the coming things. We know now she's not at Lena isn't at odds with Kara apparently. Lex is a good guy. We have the Hall of Justice. Although, if I remember right, in Young Justice, Lex was more neutral than bad or good. So maybe he's just neutral and sees, we do need Supergirl and Superman, so defend them to the president, as it was said, because they're kind of needed. Like there are things that us humans aren't capable of doing, and we need the superheroes. We need superpowered individuals of a kind. Like they're just kind of needed, you know, in case of alien invasion again or another anti-monitor. God no, please. But yeah, so Justice League is coming. I guess it's one singular Earth Prime. I I would give the five. I believe it's 5 episodes. All the entire Crisis of Infinite Earth, the Arrowverse Crisis on Infinite Earths. I give it a solid 9.5 out of 10. The point 0.5 missing is Oliver didn't come back, which I feel like that's a bad way to end Arrow. Like we're ending Arrow because Oliver's dead, or it's more Oliver's dead because we're ending Arrow. I don't agree with that necessarily. I understand Stephen Amell needs to move on and do other things and whatnot, but I feel like they could have left him alive and have him make cameos here and there, the occasional once per season or whatever cameo, and you know have Mia don the Arrow mantle, as it were. Like they're already doing that anyway, but I think that's more of a future thing. Like they could just, whoosh, super flash forward to 2040, whatever, and there you go. Unless she's still in the present, whatever. We'll find out in the coming weeks when Green Arrow and the Canaries starts, and or maybe through Legends, Flash, Supergirl, whatever. It's all one Earth anyway now, which is good. I was always wondering, why does Tara have a different Earth to Barry and Oliver? I was always curious about that. But now everyone's, it's one Earth. So I guess that question was a moot point. Anyway, I'm going to sign off of here. Tell me what you guys thought of Crisis on Infinite Earths. That's going to be it for this video. If you guys haven't already, hit like, hit subscribe if you're new. I will see you guys next time, and as always, stay bright.